Good evening, everybody. Welcome to 3D6 Down the Line. Once again, we are playing Dolmenwood using the Old School Essentials rule set from Gavin Norman. I am your host, John, the referee, going around the horn once again. We have Mike playing Alfric Berthistle, the magic user, David playing Brother Gwillem, the friar, Matt playing Halifax Swinny, the knight, and Ted playing Argus, the fighter. So this is episode 15. Last time we left our adventurers, they had retreated from the Gorthstone along the ley line Ewer and retreated back to Prigwort after encountering some pretty scary stuff in that general vicinity. I believe, maybe Ted, you can correct me if I'm wrong, we're on the 22nd of Hagrim. Does that sound right?
Yesterday, the day that everything happened with the Gorthstone was the 22nd.
Oh, the 22nd, so okay.
It's a new day. Prigwort, 23rd.
23rd, okay, cool. All right, so why don't we roll for weather, shall we? So roll me a d6 to see if we're going to roll on spring or winter.
You doing it there, Matt?
I'll do it. Yep, I got it. There we go.
You can tell by that look of concentration on his face.
Yeah.
I got a 5.
5. Okay, so we are going to. I can't remember what I said. What did I say for?
5 is definitely spring.
Is that right?
I don't know, but I want it to be.
I think
it might be actually. I think it was 1 to 4 was going to be.
Yeah, it was like, and then as time went on, it would be more and more spring.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll the spring chart. So roll me 2d6.
Clear that up. Okay, 2d6, baby. Here we go.
All right.
Oh, that's weird. That was cocked on Albert.
I want daffodils and crocuses.
I got a 3.
That does
3.
3. Let's see what 3 is.
It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
Not that bad. Not too exciting. A chilly and damp day dawns in Prigwort.
All right.
Okay, so what do you guys plan to do? You guys have brought your wagon back. You have some very strange paraphernalia from your encounter with the Drune, and with the body of that elf knight on the ground as well.
Yeah, I think we kept his helmet and his lance.
Mm-hmm.
There was also a blade that was stuck into him, and we took that.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have a Drune dagger and a fairy dagger, a Drune staff and an elf lance, a Drune torque, Drune books, an elf helmet, and a fragment from the Gorthstone.
Mm.
Which I'm pretty excited about.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. We only know the relative value of the gold coins in the elf's pocket and the gold Drune torque. Everything else we don't have a value on or anything like that, so we don't actually know what we're bringing home.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I know that Halifax wasn't particularly inclined to just sell these things as if we were just killing people and looting them.
Sure. But the XP value is important.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know what that is.
So what do you plan to do?
Can I just recommend that we don't spend a lot of time in Prigwort? I mean, I don't think we should try and sell stuff or anything. Everyone in town made a big deal about us leaving. Oh my God, they're setting out on their expedition, and here we are the very next day, being like, "Hi,
hey, we're back.
let's go check out. I want to do more hex exploration. Does anyone else want to go check out that hex that was right to the south where those bakers, and the bard is missing, and I don't know. I think it was on the edge of the Golden Wood or something, and maybe we can go get in some trouble there."
I'm down to do that. Do we want to store anything in town in the meantime?
I think we should store those new items in town rather than carry them with us until we figure out what they do, if we want to keep them, if we want to sell them.
Deniability. We'll take the murder evidence out of the car.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do we want to bury it in the ground somewhere?
You're still staying at the Clashed Antler, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been paying for the night stays there?
We had paid for them up until the point that we left. So if I guess if we spent the night last night in the Clashed Antler, we need to pay for that.
Don't forget, I'm staying at the church.
Okay, so that's the 3 of us. The retainers can go to their homes, right? So we just have to pay for the 3 of us, yeah?
Correct. Yeah, it's 1 GP per person if you want one of the private one of the cabins. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What do we just do it off the company funds?
Yeah, let's use the company funds until the company funds are expended, and then we can always just refinance them again.
Exactly. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So 3 GP for that.
Yep.
All right.
All right. So you're going to head along the Horseye Road east out of Prigwort. You've been down this road many times, and you're going to attempt to actually deliberately seek out the baker. Is that right?
I think the plan was to go to the hex where at least we were stopped that one time, and then go explore.
Yeah. Just to clarify, we still want to explore the hex, as in like exploring it fully.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Yes.
Okay.
Also, I would like to pray at the church before leaving in the morning.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, please do.
Reverend.
Actually, Argus will join you.
Okay.
Okay. So Reverend Smunk is happy to see you come back again, and you do receive the blessing of Saint Waylain and are able to cast Hold Person once within the next 24 hours.
Nice.
An overcast, humid, or not humid, but overcast and damp and chilly day as you head out again, I assume with your
full complement.
Full complement? Yeah, okay.
So, bring up the hex map, John? It's on Albert.
Yeah, that's fine.
But before, while those guys are praying, Halifax would write a letter to Chithane, the new houndskeeper up in Harrimore, and ask. He's going to be discreet about this, but just ask this guy who he placed how things are going, and about some of the historical interests that we shared in terms of the sword, the mythical sword of Sir Chide and its provenance. Asking, would anyone claim ownership of that prior to him?
Sure. And are you sending? You want to send a messenger with a written message asking about that?
Yeah. Just and again, addressed to the houndskeeper. Just as a student of history, would you be interested in something like do you know anything like this?
Sure. Okay. I'll say for the message, it's going to cost five gold to send someone.
Okay.
But you can send someone along. That's fine. All right. I'll just make a note.
So, and I'm just looking at the map, guys, and obviously I'm not looking at the hex map. Are we doing that little triangle region that's kind of down just above the Abbey of St. Key, but on the north side of the road? Is that the hex that we're going to?
It's
I think so.
It's hex 1206. So
I thought that was the one we just went to, 1206.
No, you went to 1205, but it is the hex that's in between Prigwort and the Refuge of St. Key. Basically,
and 1206 is. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Basically dominated by the Horseye Road.
Okay, cool. And so I'm marking down on my little map 1206, and that's the hex directly below 1205.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right.
So when you pass back out in this, you've gone along this passage, this part of the road numerous times now, and back and forth between the refuge and Castle Brackenwold and all other sorts of exploring throughout the times here. So you're well familiar with it. As expected, Elfric, when you leave the bounds, probably about 2 miles outside on the road, when Prewort is far in the distance, deep in the forest, the moaning of the dead slowly subsides, and you find yourself just in a quiet, chilly early spring day as you march through the wood. So your cart basically is going to limit your travel to 12 miles a day. You are furthermore going to be searching the hex in moderate terrain, which reduces your travel to 8 miles tops. But you are traveling along a road until you do decide to go exploring. So there is no modifier in Tangled Forest. Great. Okay. So it's going to take you. All right. Well, let's say this. You want to explore the hex. So do you want to fully explore, like go all the way around before you deliberately look for the bakery, or do you want to pinpoint the bakery first?
Let's just go all around first, guys.
Let's do the bakery
Sounds
last.
fine.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
and can we park our cart well away, like still in the same hex, obviously, but well away from the place where we were ambushed the first time? I would hate for those them to come and steal our cart while we're out looking for them.
right. Oh, that's fine. Yeah. So I'm sorry. So what are you doing? You're looking for the bakery first?
No.
No, we're gonna explore the hex, and then after we kind of figure out where the baker thing is going on, then maybe that will be our final interaction or whatever.
Okay. All right. So you travel along the road. You know that the spot where the ambush was set up is coming up ahead. You know this is also an extremely heavily traveled road. Very few roads are more heavily traveled than this one. If you'd like to make camp or park your cart on the side of the road, who are you leaving there? Assuming you are leaving someone there.
Yeah, the hunter guy, the hunter.
Bragan, it's a woman, is the hunter, and Weevil is the fighter. And I think we should probably, specifically because it's as trafficked as it is, leave both of them with the cart. Do you guys agree?
And Puddles. Don't forget Puddles.
I forgot about Puddles.
How could you forget Puddles?
Puddles as well, and Pim. I'll suggest comes along with us. If everyone agrees with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And you have paid in advance for these guys? I can't remember the payment terms.
Yeah.
We paid 10 days in advance.
10 days in advance.
Okay. All right, cool. Pim is not too thrilled to hear that he's also, again, on the next day, the person who's coming with you guys, based upon what happened last time, and is sort of asking, what are we doing in the woods here exactly?
What a nice jaunt, Pim. Don't you like to wayfare in the jolly wood?
Excitement, adventure.
Become one with the forest and its miscellaneous creatures. Pick some mushrooms. Come on, Pim. You're a man of the area. Surely you've spent some time out here.
So he's like, okay, but he's not too thrilled about it. As you head off, you do see that there's not a stream of traffic, but there are a few carts like kind of coming from either direction. They kind of slow down as they see your cart kind of pulled over to the side, and friendly words are exchanged between Bregan and Weevil and some of those merchant caravans as you head off into the woods. Are you taking horses with you? Are you leading horses? You can't ride them.
No,
you don't even have horses, right?
Yeah, they have to stay.
Yeah, okay.
I also want to point out whether now it's appropriate or not. I forgot to last time, but I think it would really be useful for us as we explore these hexes, maybe to either by doing markings on a tree or occasionally doing like a cairn, like some stacked rocks, etc., etc. Just do some indication that we personally would be familiar with, in case in the future we were to get like lost in this area and find that, we would be able to reorient ourselves. So I think it'd be like a useful thing to have in that.
That's interesting, Gwillem. Our companion Snell, who we recently lost, he was big on making cairns in the forest and tying ribbons on a tree.
I wonder. Well, maybe Snell's spirit speaks through me. Yes. The one true God works in mysterious ways. The worst sort.
I doubt he would talk to you. A heretic and a sinner.
Well, I think as an aside, being a friar, I'm traveling a lot, right? It would be logical that I would have my own little rituals of traversal, so to speak. So yeah, I don't know if one of those makes most sense to you, John. If I'm like scratching into a tree, or if I'm stacking some rocks, or something that has a little more permanence than just drawing a arrow in the ground.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe. Maybe we should bring the hunter with us rather than Pim.
We could get lost in there.
I mean,
Kind of why we hired a hunter.
Generally speaking, the hunter will always be able to help us navigate better. I agree with that, but again, my purpose, just to be clear, I don't want to get us too bogged down with this, is not the immediate. My purpose is, if we were to, for instance, explore all the hexes around Prigwar, and on our way back from some grand adventure in the middle of nowhere, we get lost, as we did the last time we were traveling at night. I don't know if this would help our opportunity of like finding our way again, but I think it would be a useful sort of in-world logic. I don't know.
So in general, I think the way that I would rule it is that they would certainly help. There's no way that it wouldn't help. But of course, you can't like you can't basically cartographically map out the entire hex. You know what I mean? Like this is going to be.
Nor do I expect to. Nor do I expect this. Yeah.
But I would say though that if you guys take the time to actually fully explore hexes, and then on top of that also leave landmarks and markings of your own there, then I would say that should you return to the hex, that I would, depending on the terrain, I would either completely forego a getting lost roll or reduce it. You know,
that's very fair to me.
Depending upon
that's what I'm
on like like craggy forest might be a little bit more difficult to still navigate, even but this sort of forest wouldn't be that bad.
My logic isn't to just sort of like diagram the whole area. My idea is just that like I see an obvious landmark, and I think, oh, I'll stack some rocks on that big rock.
Yep.
Right, a cairn.
Yep, that's cool.
That seems like something I might see. Right.
That should probably be something, Mike, if you're marking on a hex map stuff, that you might want to like mark like some sort of symbol that says, like we know that hex or something like that. Nice.
Probably mapping the ones that we know, and so if we're going to do that, then I'll just put an outline around it or something.
Or color, maybe color pencil dot that means explored. Anyway, so yes, you go about doing this. So I would say it's only about like maybe 9:30, 10 a.m. by the time that you actually get to the part of the road where you're going to actually head off and into it. So it's not a problem at all. And you crunch through into this. Around here, it's very like dense forbidding wood. Lots of twisted elm trees and hawthorn. There are many paths here that are like mostly animal paths, but they lead to sort of gloomy dead ends, and you kind of have to backtrack. And it's just all together a very kind of somber, dense forest. And you just hear like a lot of things out there in the forest crunching through underbrush and stuff like that, and realize that there's nothing there, and a little bit spooky. But other than that, you don't really find much of interest, except for throughout your exploration of the hex, you do crisscross, especially in the northern part of the hex, a rather well-trodden path that heads generally southwards, avoiding major obstacles. That is obviously man-made. It is it's like a hiking path, right? Like it's not in any way sort of maintained, really, but it's just. But it's obviously man-made, and it heads generally south towards the center of the hex.
Any evidence of campsites or anything like that on the trail?
No.
Yeah, we would have been looking for any signs of the bandits that accosted us that one time.
Nope, there doesn't. Well, actually, I would take it back then. In that case, it sort of does look like it's well maintained. Like there's no litter or debris or human presence at all, except for even to your unskilled eyes are obvious tracks, like recent tracks that are going back and forth of booted feet. It is a chilly, damp day, so I would say the track is probably a little bit muddy, but there's a lot of stone and roots and stuff like that that goes over hill and under dell and all that sort of stuff, and handling generally south. But you guys are sort of doing a systematic sweep across the hex, like sort of backwards and forwards, and so you're constantly sort of crisscrossing over that, kind of taking note of it, like that sort of thing. So
I wonder if that path leads down to the woodcutters or something.
It could go to the bakers. That's all good thinking, right?
Well, I think we thought the bakers was north of the road.
Yeah, we're north of the road, right, John?
You are not. Well, you're exploring everything. So this is just a long-winded way of me telling you that eventually you hone in on where the destination of this path is, and as it kind of goes southward, off the main Horseye Road, you see that through the forest, it actually seems to almost fairy tale perfect. It's sort of, the trees sort of open up into this beautiful sort of hidden glade in the midst, where it actually turns into paved or laid stone, and it kind of goes over this tiny little bridge over a little babbling brook, and off in the distance, sort of like dully lit by the clouded sky, a quaint little cottage.
What does the air smell like?
It actually smells, it's a good question. It's a very mouth-watering scents are emanating from that general direction. The sense of cinnamon and gingerbread. It's like a thatched little, charming little thatched cottage.
So,
Love
so
to see
John,
it.
just so I'm clear, when you said that it was a well-trodden path heading south, you're saying that we had gone north of the road to explore and encountered a path heading back south?
No,
So really, it's a north.
no.
It's off the main road.
When
going
you
south.
say you're exploring a hex, you're basically covering everything. So if there's anything to find, you're going to find it. So I'm going to say like you go all over the hex. There is a path. There is a path, however, that leads off from the main road. I actually explained this to you when you were initially ambushed. But you guys said you wanted to avoid that spot. But
Oh, I thought that path headed north.
no, it didn't head south.
So we're south of Forest-shrouded Road. Before we go and jump into trouble, can we say that I was foraging as we traveled around, John, and do
Sure.
a quick forage roll?
Absolutely, yep. It's 2 and 6 for you, right?
Yep. So hold on one second. I believe it's 2 and 6. Let me double check just in case.
And John, you didn't ask, but I've memorized sleep and sleep.
Sleep and sleep. Okay.
Yep, 2 and 6. 2 and 6. So I'm going to roll.
Relic Willem picks his way through the forest, nose to the ground, eyes on the trunks of trees and the backsides of
Rolled a
stones.
1.
Oh, well, there you go. Good job.
Hope you get caviar.
All right, roll
I want to
me.
get some psychedelics.
Roll me a d6.
It's
It's gonna be mushrooms again.
It's another one.
Fungi. Roll me a d20.
Not mold in this forest.
Is a 17.
17. Pour one out for Jesse. This is spatchcock.
Oh,
This is a chunky gray bracket fungi. Smells and tastes of roasting game. Wow. Ooh, this is cool. Spatchcock mushrooms are one of the most treasured delicacies of the woodsman. Once foraged, they dissolve into slime within hours, so they are rarely tasted in towns. So you actually kind of have to like eat them now, which is kind of cool.
fun.
Yeah,
That's
that's
fun.
why they're so treasured. So roll me another d6.
4.
4. Okay, so you found enough to feed 4 people, 4 rations worth of spatchcock.
Well,
Well, there's 4 of us. That's
there's
perfect.
4 of us. Sorry,
Kevin gets
Bregan.
nothing.
Bregan can have mine, and I'll have my last remaining Drune berry from the other session. That way, we're all eating together.
Oh, so it's Bregan who's coming? Okay.
Didn't we bring Bregan? Was that
Yeah,
not
we
the
did.
decision?
We
said
didn't
the-
agree on it.
this
We
time.
discussed it.
Oh well, we brought Bregan instead of Pim. I'm gonna say
Okay.
so.
Right.
Well, that actually matters because we do have to roll to see if you
lost.
yeah, although I should probably forgo it because I've already said that you found the cottage, so we'll worry about that. We'll worry about that later. We'll just say that because Bregan is with you and she's a hunter, she knows the way. Okay,
You,
so
you can roll to see if we get lost when we're running away, John.
yeah, exactly.
Foraging seems pretty. Maybe we're just getting lucky, but foraging seems pretty powerful, gang.
It's pretty cool.
I'm loving just
right.
wandering around and filling myself up for the day.
And
Detritus.
you're starting to lean heavily towards the mushroom end of things too, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So there's
You're like a truffle hunting pig.
So in the gloomy light of the glade there with the cottage, it looks pretty picturesque, but there is some activity going on. You notice that that there is the main cottage, but also in the rear there appear to be a couple of smaller dwellings, and you notice that there are some humanoid men-sized forms like back there, like kind of working together, or what appear to be around some sort of pool or pond back there. In addition, you see that there are a number of young women, all varying ages, varying from like preteen all the way up to like mid-20s. You'd say there's probably 5 or 6 basically outside the cottage, and they're basically doing just a number of tasks or talking to each other. You hear some giggling from the younger ones. And the smell is absolutely like drawing you inwards, basically. You know, some of them are like beating like a rug on the outside, or sweeping the threshold, that sort of thing. As you, I will say that you guys have not emerged into the glade, so they do not appear to have noticed you yet. But all in all, it looks like an industrious, quiet, peaceful place.
This is good they have not noticed us, because we have not talked about what we want to do.
Exactly.
Are we going to run out charging and just kill all these girls?
I wish we could save those mushrooms to barter, man. That would have been... They like food.
Oh, that's a fun idea. That's a bummer.
Too bad.
Such as that. One quick note, Ted, because you're probably doing the ration log for the retainers. Don't forget that Bregan just had that's 1 spare ration, right?
Yep.
For Bregan. And yes, last session Pim had 1 as well. So that's 2 extras. Sorry. Anyway.
Okay. The question I wanted to ask John is, when we're standing at the edge of the clearing or whatever, and we're looking, see a cottage and some smaller buildings. Do they look like large enough to house the number of people we're seeing, or do they look much larger? Is there a lot of people we're not seeing, from a guess?
I'm sorry, is it
like, so like if you come across like a little 10 by 10 cabin in the woods, and there's 20 people in the yard, they don't all sleep in a
No, it looks it's a relatively rambling large, you know what I mean? It's not, it looks like it's suitable for a number of people.
Does it look like we're definitely not seeing everyone? Like, oh, that place is huge and I see 3 people, or
I couldn't. You don't know.
We can't tell.
You can't tell.
Should we like do a kind of perimeter around these to kind of look around before we just walk in the main?
I want to make sure we walk around the back so you see the men flayed on the wooden racks.
Yep. The humans hanging on the back of the barn. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you move around to the back. You see that back there is an extremely large, about 60 feet wide, in the midst of the forest, with a stone path that sort of leads back there from the back end of the cottage. A large pool, but it's bubbling in sort of yellowish white, and you realize that what it actually is like, it appears to be dough. Like yeast, like a yeast pool almost. And there are 6 figures, which are at various irregular points along that dough pool, that have these large wooden, churning poles, right? Like things, and they're sort of mixing the, just kind of making sure that it kind of stays consistent. And strangely enough, they are all human-sized gingerbread men. Like literally, like the sort of yeah.
The bard.
And they've got like the little frosting eyes and little smiling frosting faces.
Don't eat anything. Do not eat anything.
How come everything that we fight is undead, fae, constructs that are all immune to sleep spells? It really started making me upset.
There also appears to be near the pool. There is a much more ramshackle cottage, like nowhere near as upkept, and much smaller, and basically windowless. And also there is what is obviously like a shed of some sort, which is off to the side, like a very small wooden building.
So very important.
Our bard friend might be trapped in one of those buildings.
Could be.
He's been turned into a gingerbread man.
Just as you were like, I wonder if the bard's there, you hear melodious, sonorous tones, male tones, coming from within the main cottage, like a lovely what's the term for that kind of song? I don't know.
Yodel.
Lay?
A yodel.
No, not a yodel.
ballad?
A ballad. There you go. Yes, a lovely ballad coming.
You guys, this can't be sanitary to be mixing dough
I
outside.
know. Somebody, we got to
Open
call the
air.
health department.
There's
on
like
this.
leaves and like goose poop in there and all kinds of stuff, man.
So let's not have a snack while we're here.
Yeah.
Did
Let's
you-
shut them down.
Did you relay to Brother Gwillem your interaction with them prior?
oh yeah, we're looking for a guy called the Velvet Touch, I believe.
Sounds
Creepy name.
he sounds like a real creep.
No,
honestly.
totally legit. Totally.
Maybe he deserved to be turned into a gingerbread man. I don't know.
So, John, very important question. I got to go tuck in a kid, but before I do, gingerbread men, do they have little icing smiles or do they have little icing frowns?
They have icing smiles.
Oh, they're happy.
Hmm
Okay.
They are. They're
Everything's
they're
fine.
objectively happy.
Awesome.
They could.
All right,
No,
I'll be back in 1 minute.
Okay.
So,
trust nothing smiling.
Do they have any gingerbread weapons?
They have big churning ladle wood things,
Like a paddle kind of thing.
like a paddle. Yes.
Do they have thumbs?
No, they have like little mitten hands. You know. Yeah.
They just kind of
They do
fold
have
around.
a thumb.
Well, let's not get pedantic
All right.
about how they hold the butter things when they're they're using them.
All right. Well, we can just walk right up, which I think is probably our only option. So
If you want to interact
I don't know,
with us,
man. I would say if we can get closer to those outbuildings
I got
and at least kind of clock those before we just go sauntering into the middle of like Man Pie
agree.
Central.
You hear
I'm sorry,
a smattering of
God.
applause as the ballad ends from inside, and some
Yeah.
light cheering.
Hey, why don't we walk the circumference of this clearing away from the doughboys towards, like you said, sort of this fringe. They were sort of ramshackled.
so just keep doing the perimeter.
Yeah, I want to see if we can get closer to that ramshackle building with no windows and see what the
Yeah.
hell's there.
There's two. There's a window with built a windowless cottage and also a ramshackle shed.
Which one? Sorry, I hate to be confused. Which one has the music emanating from it?
Neither.
No, that's
main-
the main house.
That's the main house. Okay, cool. Yeah, so let's go to the shed. Let's go small to large. Why not? Let's go to the shed first because the shed's a shed.
How close is the shed to the perimeter? Can we actually get to it without being gingerbreaded?
You can. No, they are both sort of like out in the open, like in the landscaped area of the yard. So, you know, you could try to time it when they're all looking at the pool or something like that. But other than that, you'd be basically exposed.
I mean, I could.
You
Here's
go
the
on
one
the
thing we
far
can
side
do,
of the
gang.
shed. Oh, sorry, David. Go ahead.
This will not make us invisible, but as we utilized last time, silence will silence us. So if we wanted to cast silence on one of us and walk together, we won't make any noise in the walking.
Honestly, man, I feel like you
It's-
should say that bad boy.
I do too, but I'm just saying, like, if we get into a rut where we need to be real quiet, real quick, that is useful as a defensive as well. But I don't know. That's sounds like we're.
I was wondering, John, if we circle farther around the glen, can we get to a point where the buildings are between us and the gingerbread guys?
That's smart.
Yes, you could. Although,
All right.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Whoa, we'd
Is
be visible
one of
from
them
the main cottage.
closer- What's that?
If we did that, we wouldn't be visible to the gingerbread, but would we be visible to the young women in the main cottage?
Possible. The cottage is 2-storied, and there are numerous windows all around, so they basically can see all. Oh, you know, if someone is looking through the windows, they're able to see like basically the entire place.
Okay.
I gotta say, I think honesty is the best policy here. You know, come up to the front door.
Yeah.
There's a-
Go ahead, John.
You're kind of debating what to do, and one of the women, who appears to be the oldest, this woman looks to be probably in her early 30s, strikingly tall, beautiful, with long, straight black hair, wearing comfortable riding leathers. She kind of comes confidently back, and she is she pulls out of a sheath at her side a long leaf-bladed dagger. Gorgeous looking thing. Does not look like it's meant for it. It looks like obviously fairy make, although she herself does not look of fairy. and she unsheathes it, and she casually just sort of whittles a little stick with it, and she does it like in a rapid motion, so fast that you can't really see her hands, and like the shavings are like flying off the end of the stick, like as if she's just cutting through butter. And she just sort of saunters through. She kind of holds up the blade, and she sort of smiles into it and checks her teeth in the reflection of it. You know what I mean? Just kind of casually, just walking around, doesn't appear to notice you.
Sure.
And then she kind of comes up to the gingerbread man, kind of looks into the pool, nods a little bit, and then she, without even recognizing that the gingerbread men are there, she just takes her knife and she sort of just wicks off like a little chunk of gingerbread off like the back end of one of their arm, and she just kind of holds it like a little piece of bread. You know what I mean? That was basically what it is, against the blade, and she sort of eats a little bit of the gingerbread from the person, and then she
what?
Yeah. Then she, with like an expert sort of like butterfly, like she like sheathes it again.
Love it. What was the thing that she whittled? Or can we tell what this?
Just like a sharp, like a nothing. She hasn't been carved into anything yet.
Okay.
We remember her. Was she one of the brigands that robbed us?
She sure was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Was she the chatty one that was going to fill me through full of crossbow bolts?
No. That was a red-haired one who was a little bit younger, but she was there.
Well, it seems like
she wanders back around.
I don't think sleuthing around will get us anywhere good. Either I think we go towards the front door in peace, or we leave.
Yeah. And we just said, hey, we heard the music and we were wondering if it's the Velvet Touch here because there's people looking for him back in town, and
all right, put it like, everyone that wants to YOLO, raise your hand.
I want to YOLO by walking up and saying hi to them. I don't want to YOLO.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah. Of course, I want to YOLO.
The only question, Ted, go ahead.
No, he's
voting.
Oh, you're voting? Yeah, I vote for up there too.
All right.
The only thing I want to know is like, because I'll whip this sword out when it's time, but
yeah, you will.
When is that going to be time? Are we like going in there to like kick some ass, or are we just going in there to like say, oh hi, Mr. Velvet Touch, we're big fans.
That was my plan.
I think we go in with the pretense that we spoke to them before and we were curious about the music as we were walking down the road and wondered if we could parlay for a bit.
All right. I'm not voting yes.
I don't want to jump to conclusion. Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
I said I'm not voting yes, but I'm in. Just remember that when we're being stuffed into pies, this was your idea, okay? Just remember that.
It's always been prefaced by that. Just remember, whenever something horrible, there was a decision point. There was a decision made.
That moment where everything went horribly awry.
That's right.
If it makes you feel any better, we may not be pies. We may be gingerbread men.
There you go. Okay. And I would just say before we go in, after seeing this fairly horrific sight of this gingerbread man, I would say let's be on our best behavior. We don't know if go ahead. Go ahead.
Finish your thought. I have a thought after your thought. Go ahead.
It may be that they are villainous witches, and it may also be that many a terrible soul who crossed their path got turned into gingerbread as vengeance. So let's not jump to conclusions about their innate moral stance quite yet.
Now my thought, John, wizardy, right? When she lops off a piece of that gingerbread guy, A, does it react? Does its frosting smile turn down?
Nope.
And B, does it repair itself?
No.
A little frosting in the hole?
No. Basically.
Or like do I notice that they're covered in like little nicks and bites and chews and like,
No. Good question. So I would have told you, but no. They don't. That doesn't really react. And like I said, it's not like she like lopped off a whole bunch. She just took a little bite. Tiny like a little gingerbread man bite. Except this is a huge gingerbread man.
I'd probably do the same.
Mm.
All right.
Smells really good.
Let's go to the perimeter until we get back to the path that leads to the front door, and then we can march up the path.
Okay. So
the last thing. I'd ask for is some kind of safe word, because obviously they have some kind of way to bewitch you and make you want to stay here.
And you guys are so paranoid.
Oh, we're super paranoid.
What have I done to make you guys act this way?
Well, our first encounter with anything was a giant crow monster that one-shotted us in one round.
Well,
that was.
You did go to the ruined Abbey of St. Cloud. You were warned about what kind of place that was. You didn't walk in blind.
Yeah, and this is the bakery. Yeah, this is the bakery.
All right, so I'm trotting up the street.
Right. So you walk down a little stone path and you go over the bridge. And
I'm whistling loudly as I approach too. So
okay, so they obviously they hear you whistling, and they see you all approach. Bregan has, I guess, her bow probably in her hand, but not knocked at all. I assume, right? I mean, you tell me, David, but whatever.
Yeah, I think Bregan has her bow. Sorry, Mike.
We should have left Bregan in the woods as like an overwatch.
We can't. We can let her watch in case we need an evac.
Right, she's here.
Okay. Right. Yeah, sure. I'll say Bregan. In case something looks fishy, could you just keep a watch from the woods?
Will do, boss. She. So you and they a number of the girls hail you. They're like, "Oh, welcome," you know. And then you see like there's a little bit of recognition, and you're like, "Ah, you took us up on our offer." And you see like the red-haired sort of 22-year-old. She comes bursting forth, all sort of ebullience and happiness, and there is she's not wearing her leathers, but she does have like a crossbow like at her side that she's not carrying it, but it's there basically. But she looks more like she's, just living here. And she comes up and she says, travelers, it is so good to see you again. You have decided to come taste our wares, not wait for Collie and Prigwort. Excellent. Well, come in, please.
Thank you.
And you bring a friend too, brother. Welcome. May God be with you.
God be with you.
And you.
We brought pastries last time we were on the Horseye Road. We thought you might see you again, but we never did. So we thought we should pay a visit. And I'm sorry we don't have anything this time. We've been camping, but it's nice to see you.
Desperate times. We apologize for the way that we acted back then, but sometimes times are what they are. You have to take what you can get. But I'm so glad that you came that obviously bygones are bygones, that you've come of your own accord to come join us and a merry feast, and perhaps for something more. She gives you like a saucy little wink. As she kind of escorts you towards the door with like a little entourage of women. You see the dark-haired one, the older one. She's like leaning against the lintel with like one leg sort of cocked back against the other one, and she's just she's got that knife out. And she's just sort of like shaving, filing her nails, And she just kind of looks up at you and kind of gives you like a wry smile. She's just like, "Welcome, please enter." And then the red-haired one kind of calls back out, and she goes, "Mother, we have guests." And you hear like a banging of pots and oh my, all right, very well, Mr. Grewwater, please prepare something for our guests. And she ushers you in, and you find yourself into it's everything you kind of expected that a normal, lovely little fairy tale cottage bakery would be, right? It's there's a long table enough that basically dominates this room. There's a stairway that goes up, obviously, to chambers. There are a number of chambers that abut on either side of the cottage, coming off from the main dining room. But the main table is like a spread, man, and it's all carbs, baby. It's like just like mounds of sweet danishes and tarts and pastries of all sorts, cookies and like the mounds of bread, and it just smells like absolute heaven. And the smells emanating from across like the length of the table, there is an entrance to a kitchen, and way back there you can see that there's a very large oven that like dominates the entire thing. And wiping her hands on her apron as she comes out is a very, sort of pudgy, stout, but grandmotherly looking woman as she kind of comes out, and she's got flour all over her hands and on her face, and she wipes her hands on her apron, and she's got like one big rolling pin. And she has a rolling pin in one hand, and she has a huge, long stirring spoon in the other ones that she's sort of like wielding like a scepter.
Sort of like sword and board here.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And she puts like the rolling pin on the ground, but she's still sort of waving her spoon around. She goes, "Yes, welcome. May I introduce you, first of all, to our honored guest that we have with us. Sort of, I suppose we should say that he's in residence, I suppose." And you see that there is one gentleman just sort of sitting, not at the head of the table, but at the far end to like the left of the head, just like a guy just sitting there. But this guy is huge, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like ripped, like just bursting out of his tunic, right? Like, and his tunic has obviously been tailored to show off his muscles, right? Like it's cut off like right at the mid bicep, so it's like bulging out, and he's got the lacings here that are sort of stretched out to see like the pec line, that sort of thing. Gorgeous long, dirty blonde Fabio hair that he sort of, he looks over at you and he smiles a gleaming veneered white smile, and he goes, "Well, welcome to the bakery. Named Crump Brewwater. They call me the Oaken String."
Was that you that we heard singing, sir?
Well, might say that it probably was. I don't think there's anyone else you ladies sing around here. They all laugh and giggle, and a couple of them like just put a hand on his massive shoulder, oh Crump. He's silly, and Crump takes like he's like, "Well, have a seat. You should try some of these." And he's like halfway through like this mounded layered tart, and he like tastes like a big bite of it, like a jellied sort of like poofs out on the side of his mouth. He's like, "Mother just makes the best, just the best stuff. You wouldn't believe. Have a seat. Pull up a chair. We've got lots to talk about, I'm sure. I want to hear your stories. Maybe make a song about it. Take it on the road."
Argus will happily accept a slice of pie and sit down next to Crump Brewwater, and as he tucks in, "So are you the fellow they call the Velvet Touch? Is that you? Have I heard of you?"
Nah, the Velvet Touch. I don't know who that is. I'm the Oaken String.
Yeah, you said that, and I got confused. I heard there was a guy out here playing in these parts named the Velvet Touch, some singer guy.
Doesn't sound reputable to me. You member of the Bardic Guild like yours truly?
I don't know. We just, you hear stuff at the pub that there's somebody out there, and when you're traveling around, thought it might be you. No big deal.
So how do you like that pie?
That's this. What is the kind of pie is it, John?
Well, it's the kind of pie that's going to make you make a saving throw.
Ah.
Oh.
and which
Saving throw
would that
pie
be,
is the
John?
best.
That's not a good pie.
Make me a saving throw versus spells.
Oh, that's not good. I have to get above this number, don't I?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
No bueno.
No bueno.
The other three of you guys notice that the women in the room and Mother are all focused very strongly on Argus as he's tucking into his pie.
All right. Here goes. No, my spell save is a 16. I don't think that quite does it.
All right, so Argus, you don't know what it is about the Oaken String, but this guy is speaking your language, and there's just something about this guy that it is pulling you in, and whatever this guy has given you, you want more of it.
I don't like the sound of that at all.
Yes, you do, actually.
Actually,
You love the sound of this.
Tell me, Mr. Grewwater. Tell me all your stories.
Well, Argus, well, I can see that you're a fan. You've heard of me. Is that correct? You've been down to the Woodcutters encampment. That's where I hail from. That's where the whole Grewwater clan hails from. See.
Oh, the Woodcutters. Yes, I've heard nothing but interesting things about the Woodcutters. Yes.
Well, I could tell you some stories. I think I might hear the accent of Dreg upon your lips. Is that right?
I am from Dreg. I'm amazed that you notice. Well done, sir.
Well, it's my pleasure, of course. So why don't you just come over here and have a seat next to me, and we'll...
I would love to. Is there more pie? I adore pie.
John, do we notice anything irregular about his baby yet, or is it just...
Yeah, you sit on his lap.
Yeah, it's quite obvious that that Argus is, although you certainly don't have to roleplay it, Argus, that he's more than just interested in what Grewwater has to say. Like he's gone dotty for him, basically. Like he can't get enough of him.
This pie is amazing, sir. What's the large baker woman's name? Did we get her name?
Mother. You can call me Mother, dearie.
Mother. What is in this pie? This is amazing.
Oh, secret ingredients. Would you like to know?
Oh, come on.
We get top dollar for it. We get top coin for it at market in Prigwort.
Wow.
I'm so glad you enjoyed.
I consider myself very lucky.
Have a cookie. Gentlemen, the rest of you, you're just standing there. It's a chilly day. Come warm yourself by the fire. Sit down.
Really, I just ate. Up to here.
Well, what are you here for if you're not here to eat?
Oh,
For your warm company.
Yeah, the company.
And we are hoping to purchase some of your pastries to take
For the road.
Ah.
Yes.
Well, of course you can. What do I have here? Let's see. Did they not give me prices for these?
They're all free.
Much as you can eat, man.
Remember, if garlic is 5 gold, it'll be 150.
Yeah, it's here. Yes, each pastry is 2 silver.
Oh, damn. Interesting. We could actually make some money on this, guys.
New plan, totally new plan.
Yeah,
leave Argus here and start like this bakery delivery service.
Embargoed, or pastry smugglers. All right, so let me think about this. If we were to buy your entire stock and save you a trip to Prigwort for Market Day, what would you want for that?
Oh, you wouldn't be able to sell them as well as we can sell them. And you look at all the girls who are all smiling. But it is a lovely offer, and that's just wonderful that you have the coin to buy me out of my entire stock. Isn't that right, ladies? My entire stock, he says. And they're all like, wow, interesting. But don't trouble yourself, please. If you would like to buy some and to take with you to enjoy upon your travels, wherever they may take you, please feel free. But our businesses are...
Sure.
We make the trip up to Prigwort every week. It's not a bother. And frankly, we're offering you a good deal here. We charge substantially more at the market.
Do you have a lot of return customers seeking you out here after purchasing a Market Day?
Well, there are some gentlemen often that become transfixed with my daughter's beauty sometimes, and well, we're all creatures of nature here, aren't we, gentlemen? They have needs.
At which point, Argus will waggle his eyebrows at the redhead.
No. You are not. You actually have no desire to do that, Argus. You are waggling your eyebrows directly at Grewwater right now.
It's that powerful. Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Of exciting and new.
I'll poke his bicep then. Oh my. Oh.
Yeah. Well, that's a lifetime of traveling the roads and singing songs.
I should take up
You're like, what?
My goodness. Amazing.
So, John, while this is going on, while we're in this we're in this lovely room with all the pastries. Is there anything else going on in this room? Anything that doesn't seem quite right?
Being surrounded.
No, but you guys all seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Tarantino?
I have not, but
Yeah, of course.
No.
No, I actually haven't.
Is this the part with the flamethrower?
Jesus Christ.
I've seen it, John.
We're gonna die now. We're gonna die for missing a movie.
Anyway, if we weren't on camera, I would go off on a rant at you guys for not having seen the Tarantino movie. But anyways, there's a scene in there where we give you the same vibe. But never mind. Apparently that reference isn't going to catch on. Maybe you listeners out there will understand.
As long as it's not from dusk till dawn.
well, what I would ask John specifically is I mean, I understand that we are newcomers, and so that there's probably a level of entertainment. But does it seem as though there's no interest in anything but us in this room? Which is to say, like,
it looks like you enter.
They're all sort of waiting for something to happen. Does that make sense?
No, they're just sort of they you stepped into their glade, one that does not have signs posted like please come and visit us, and they're being polite, and they recognized you from before and apologized for what they did. Now they're offering you to sell you pastry. Everything seems very normal, right? Considering the situation. Mother was baking something in the back at some time. Grew water here is rather strange. There's no sign of the velvet touch, and they all seem to be just sort of focused on you. They want to know like what you're doing here and if you'd like anything.
But there aren't
like walking in a circle backwards or speaking in tongues.
Not like stuff made out of femurs and
no, but they all are armed. They all are armed. It would be if you're sizing it up like strategically. It looks like it would be impossible to escape out of an exit without going through them. Yeah. For one thing,
I'm gonna count out 5 gold, which is let me think that again.
That's a lot.
I'm gonna count out 2 gold, which is like 20 pastries, right?
Yep.
And
10 pastries. They're 2 silver each, so it's 5 pastries for a gold.
Thank you. Math. And yeah. And so I'll count out 2 gold, and that's 10 pastries, and I'll just kind of peruse up and down the table and say, oh, I would like this treacle tart and these baguettes with honey and clotted cream and those, and I'll just
pie.
Huh?
Get some pie. You've got to try the pie.
I'm not a big fan of pie.
Oh,
it gets all in your beard.
Or it's going to later.
Okay. So you get your
right. So that I'm a paying customer.
Yeah.
And then once I've selected that, I'm going to be like, gentlemen, should we head back to camp?
Yes. Argus, let's go. Off to camp.
You can.
I say knowingly.
You can go, Argus, but you'd rather not. But
I'll come. We'll visit again.
What?
Oh. It's fine. You don't. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he'll go.
Okay.
He's shoveling more pie in his mouth as he goes out the door.
Well, thank you so much for visiting. Come back anytime, and perhaps we'll see you in Prigwort.
We're going to sing your praises up and down the road from here to Breckenwald.
Well, it was a pleasure meeting all of you gentlemen. I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. Pretty happy here, so more than likely you might see me again.
As I'm going out, Argus wanted to look in the kitchen again. You said there was a huge stove, like big enough to cook a gingerbread man stove?
Yeah, it's quite large, yes.
Like one of those 6-foot gingerbread men could come out of that thing?
Perhaps, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But they don't let you go into the kitchen. You can kind of peer in, you can kind of look, but yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right, gents. When we're out of earshot, I think, Alfred, do you think Druge might be able to detect any sort of ensorcement on these pastries?
I could tomorrow. But here's the thing about them. They're extremely popular in Prigwort, and yet I don't see droves of people leaving Prigwort and prancing merrily into the woods to come to this cottage. So my suspicion would be is that the magical effect that is infected our friend Argus.
What are you talking about, guys?
Mhm.
Oh, nothing. We're talking about the pastries and how lovely they were.
Oh,
I have a feeling that they probably dwindle after time or distance from the
yeah.
Gotcha.
Or
there.
the ensorcelment was actually from Crump. Maybe he was the one putting a spell on me or enchanting the pie or something. I mean, I think it's likely the former, but
You seem incredibly lucid for someone who's been eating enchanted tarts.
Magic pie. Yeah. How are you feeling, Argus?
I don't know how I'm feeling. How am I feeling, John?
You miss the sight of Grewwater.
Uh-huh.
You could have listened to his stories and gazed into those blue eyes all
Is this
day
like
long.
blood potion number 7 or something?
You don't know what comes over you. Like, you're able to sort of think about it. You're like, well, why? What is going on? But you never thought you'd have these feelings towards another man. But man, that was one striking bard.
You had a very profound moment. Argus.
It's an awakening.
I'm proud of you.
It's a moment of yeah.
It's great. It's great.
Good for you.
I think I'm going to whistle to Bragan or signal right to come along with us from her perch.
Okay. Yep.
We don't leave.
She meets you up. Didn't
I
see anything
think
in
this
this boss.
this episode should be called "How Argus Got His Groove Back."
There you go.
All right, guys. Unless you're seeing something here that I'm not, I'm seeing a fairly benign cult of enchanted baker women, possibly enslaving local men with gingerbread things, and I don't really want to tangle with these people.
We're gonna keep walking. See what else we find in the woods.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. All right.
Is anyone thinking different? Does anyone want to go back in there and storm the cottage?
No,
and
I have no interest.
tie them up, throw them in the yeast bin, and
No,
then
there's only one other thought that might be fun and might be worthwhile.
Let's hear it.
Stay, back off into the woods. Stay around until nightfall. See if things change at night. See if they seem like just as innocent at nightfall, or is that when they come out and like
Have their Wiccan coven dancing in the moonlight thing.
exactly?
I could stand to see them dancing in the moonlight. That'd be all right.
Yeah, but can we stand here while you're enchanted for who knows?
Probably
how
get
long?
me out of here.
We'll tie you to a tree. It's fine.
I do think it's a good idea.
Crump Grewwater comes out dancing. I'll be done for.
That's what I'm
Well,
worried about.
we can back off quite a ways and then come back at night if Argus seems fine. Like, we can ask him, like, how do you feel about old Crumpwater now? If he's still all gaga, we don't go back. But if he seems to get better, maybe we go back.
All right. That's the plan then, is to wait till nighttime. Check it out.
Yeah, I think so. But I think we need to leave down the path. I'm going to assume that they're going to follow us, or at least Miss Stabby thing is probably going to track us, right? So we need to go far enough away down the path where, but then when we veer back towards the glade, maybe the point of entry that we originally made, she's not still following us. Does that make sense?
Would Bragan be able to assist us in covering our tracks, or at least?
I don't think she's high enough level to do that.
I guess another relevant.
Sorry, go ahead.
Another relevant question might be like, we followed this path from the road. How is it? An hour off? Is it 2 hours? 3? How far away? How did we travel down this path?
Well, you didn't. You happened upon the glade not from the path, right? Like you were searching the hex diligently, so you don't know how long the path. But because you basically have the map of the hex like in your head, sort of thing. You know that the glade is basically like near the center of the hex, which is approximately like maybe no more than 2 miles from the road. So you assume that the path, if it leads to generally in a straight direction back to the road, would be about 2 miles. If that, it's probably more like 1.5 miles.
What time of day is it, John?
It's still morning. It's probably at this point probably around 11 a.m. maybe.
Hey, gang, do we want to? If this doesn't sound absolutely sinister, I'm not trying to hurt anyone. That's a great caveat.
Great way to start a suggestion.
We've already determined that there are many people traveling along the road, not least of which some merchants and the like, etc., etc. Does it, for curiosity's sake, make any sense to sell or give a pastry to a stranger and have a conversation with them for a little bit and see how they react? I mean, we have no reason to think they're going to melt, right? We just know it's made Ted super happy. I'm curious if all the pastries have the same effect or if it was just the pie.
I mean, they sell these pastries all the time, so I think that, I mean, we could probably even offer one to our retainers and see how they.
I think, and I think
retainers. I don't want to.
That's.
I know. I don't want. Well, I don't want them to realize we're charming them. One, two.
Such a good use of retainers, though. It's like,
right? Hey, eat this
thing. Check this trap. Go down that passageway.
Rob bagels.
Oh god. Well, you know that wage we renegotiated with you? We think it might be a little steep. What do you think?
Yeah, exactly.
But what I think would inform us on, perhaps, is whether what Argus is going through is local, right? Is a result of some synergy between the Baker's Dozen and our beautiful bard, or if it's purely the pastry, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Like, I don't know. It's a thought I have. We have time before nightfall, so we can do things before nightfall. That's my point.
Right.
Yeah. I would say we
confused about one thing as far as like hex exploration and timing. The hex is explored at this point, and yet it's still morning. But it takes a full day to explore the hex, right, John?
I misspoke. It wouldn't take the whole day. Well, let me just double check. It might be later than I said.
Previously said it was a full day to fully explore a hex.
Yeah, because if we've been looping around and find everything and then find the road and then go down.
If we can knock one out before noon, we should move to the next one and knock that one out.
No, you can.
I mean, I agree.
It doesn't take up the whole day to search a hex. It just reduces the amount of miles that you can travel in a day, depending on the terrain of the hex. So in this hex, which is moderate terrain because it's tangled forest, reduces the maximum amount you could travel to 8 miles. If there was anything impeding you further than that, then it would obviously reduce it down to that as well. But basically, you're topped out at 8 miles, and the hex is 6 miles wide, right? So you have, you know,
an extra 2 miles to spare.
Exactly, that's like your budget, right? You could do that. So you would not be able to.
We've used 75% of our travel time for the day, and I hate doing math, but that would mean that if we started first thing in the morning, we'd be like 75% through our daylight hours, basically, right? Is that kind of a way to think about that?
Yeah, basically, that's actually true. Yeah. So what does that mean? That means it's probably like mid-afternoon.
Okay.
Right.
So we want to test some pastries?
Yeah, man. Let's just
go back to the road, test pastries if we can, and then come back and like peep at the girls.
Five silver pastry.
I'm pretty amoral, and yet I would feel a little bit better magically experimenting on people if we just gave them to them for free.
Okay, fine.
Seems a bit dodgy to be
who
like.
Who are you giving it to?
Pay for the privilege. Come on.
All right, you get back to
3 muffins for sale.
You get back to the. Do you want to get back to the road, or do you want to get back to your cart?
The cart was on. I see.
The cart is slightly off the road, like maybe like a couple hundred yards as far into the forest as we can get. Right.
It's not even that then, because it's a cart. So all right. So yeah, you get back to your cart, and what do you do?
I think we leave the cart where it is, off the side of the road, go to the road, and then just wave at people and be like, "We bought too many pastries."
Set up a lemonade stand.
I was gonna say we'd use the cart and look like merchants, basically. You know what I mean? Like make it look like we were selling wares, not just strangers standing in the middle of the street.
Well,
like what? Who's
what we gotta do is
the guy with a bunch of sweet
no
rolls
one's taking
just,
those.
like, covered in mud, right?
Tailgating, man. We bring the cart
Is it
up.
any better to be rolled up in a white van offering people sweets? I don't know.
Like, there are a bunch of, my point was there are a bunch of merchants with caravans that go back and forth on this road. We probably look a little more legitimate if we were with our caravan and not just.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We bring the wagon up. We set up, some folding chairs. Get a little fire going.
Okay. Yeah. So the traffic has dwindled down because people have to plan for the fact that they need to be in pre-work by the end of the night, right? But but you do get like one or two, and the guards are like, "Oh, yeah, I'll have one if you're offering." And they
Oh, well, here we go. My friend, just take a seat by the fire and enjoy yourself.
well, we got to getting on to Prigwort, or else we're not going to be able to make it in time. But we do appreciate the tart. Thanks so much. Yum yum yum.
What do you think of my friend here?
No, after he bites it, I'm going to hand it to him, right? Once he's had a bite.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, hold on one second. I want to ask you a thing or two about your travels. Where you come from?
Coming from
How you
Brackenwold.
been? Yeah?
Yeah.
Does his disposition seem at all changed?
No, he seems to be looking at you, sort of wondering why you're engaging in conversation. He's like,
we're
pretty good.
Try flexing your muscles in front of him.
Yeah. Have you heard the word of the one true Lord?
Hey, show him your neck.
There you go.
I'm a pious man. Stopped at the
works?
refuge, said a couple prayers at the chapel. Abbot Spatulard's a good fella. He's a good fella.
Mm-hmm. Ain't that truth? All right. Well, safe travels to you.
All right. Blessings to you, Father. Thanks so much for the tart.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to take a nibble of one of the other tarts.
It tastes phenomenal. Like ridiculously good.
All right.
Like Cinnabon. Without the after effects of rushing to a toilet.
There you go. All right. So we have
What have you been going to? Damn.
all right. We have 9
Suspiciously
pastries,
specific.
gang. We have 9 pastries, so that could feed the whole crew tomorrow morning, or something like that.
All right. Are we still gonna go ninja back to the glade and try and watch them?
Turn into werewolves or
Wear gingerbread men or something.
Wear
Yeah.
I feel less suspicious of the baked goods themselves.
Argus, you're having like waking. Argus is like totally out of it. You have to kind of snap your fingers in front of his eyes to get his attention to talk about something, as he's like constantly daydreaming about the hulking, the hulking muscles of Cranduil water.
so dreamy.
He really is.
Oh,
I don't think
okay, man. We didn't spot any sort of. We just had the pie.
His well,
They didn't
well-turned
foist the
thighs.
pie on us in a way that they did not the other pastries, and we did not buy any pie.
I don't
Yeah,
think it's.
I don't know. You could
pie,
spiral. I don't think it is.
locale.
Yeah. Other Fey magics, I suppose. Okay, well, I am okay moving on with my life. But if we want to go leer in the woods and definitely get turned into gingerbread men because we're leering in the woods, then we can try. But I don't know if it'll end well for us.
John, did we
It
get?
seems a bit good.
Did we get? Excuse me. I'm gross. Did we get any sense that Oakenstring was lying or surprised when we asked about the Velvet Touch? Was there any like hesitation or
No, it looks.
like
He looked like. The impression you got was that he was he's dismissive of other, like he doesn't think that any other. You mentioned other bard, and he's automatically. I'd never heard of the man. So he may have been lying, but it was sort of there's no one really better to talk about than me, obviously.
right.
That sort of thing.
So now this goes back to my other thing where either the Velvet Touch is now a Ginger Touch, or he's locked up in one of those outbuildings, or he's in a pie, or he's not there at all. Right? Like, I mean,
Well, I think we would have to do recon in the other buildings, because we know his last seen whereabouts or heard whereabouts was following them after the festival. Yeah, to go.
That's
also
right, yeah.
Oakenstring said that he was a member of the Bardic College, which means that other bard in Prigwort would know who he is. Then, right?
He was the guild representative. To be clear, he's like Sprutum and Neve is not a bard. He's like he works for the Bardic Guild, right? It's a difference. Yeah.
That's actually even better because then we don't have to worry about his ego trying to say like, "Oh, I've never heard of him before." Like we can
go ask then.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
no.
again, I'd rather go do Hex Exploration than go back to Prigwort.
Okay, well, do we want to do do another days of Hex Explore?
So you're not going
Yeah,
back
I
to the
was
cottage
wondering.
now.
I mean,
Go ahead.
if Argus doesn't seem to be himself, I don't think we should go back. If he does seem to be himself, then it would be worth taking a peek just to see if there's any hint of this missing bard guy,
Okay.
missing Velvet.
No, I agree with you. I think if Argus is still enchanted, that we shouldn't go anywhere near that.
No,
place.
we're doomed. We'll just camp for the night and see how he feels in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we got a caravan. We got some pastries.
All right, so you're going to camp here?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, let's camp here.
Okay.
Now let's get ambushed by the Drune.
Yeah, I can't wait. On that note, actually, can I take a quick? Do we want to do a group break or?
You want to do a break? Yeah, we can do a break real quick. All right, guys, we'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. So my question was: are you guys? You guys are just going to sleep here at night, right? You are not going to venture because it seems like Argus is still enchanted.
Yes, correct.
Okay, cool. All right, so did you guys bring firewood with you on the cart, or do you guys need to go get that stuff?
I think we should try to get that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, we had bought firewood at some point, but we no longer have it included in our slots. So I guess we must use it.
I know we used it once, at least.
Yeah, we had like 3 days, but it's fine.
It's not a huge deal. It's usually the easiest part of camping. So I just need to know like who is going out to gather firewood.
I'll go.
And send all 3 minions. Can they do it?
Yes, they certainly can.
Oh.
Okay, so David, you get to roll for the minions. So basically, each person who's going to look for wood is going to roll a d6. You can actually roll 3d6, David. It's fine. And your target number is 8. You're trying to find enough wood for 8 hours worth of sleep.
I have a 10.
There we go. All right, so no problem finding firewood on the side of the road. By this time of night, basically, there's no more traffic. It's an easy ride along the road from Prigwort to Castle Brackenwold, at least from the refuge. But like I said, like most people, you know, they can get to one end to the other by the night's end. So if you're out in the road at night on this road, you're automatically a little bit sus. Just want to let you know.
Nice.
That would be you guys are now the suspicious guys.
Well, that's fair.
If I didn't make that abundantly clear. Okay, so you got the fire and water is not a problem. Anyone want to try to do some cooking? Fry up some of that spatchcock?
Spatchcock was eaten immediately.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, true.
Because it was going to disintegrate. So all the fungi I have foraged for the day is gone. We do have standard rations and all that jazz. Now, I don't know if we need to do that cooking till the morning for tomorrow's rations, but I'm happy to do that cooking.
If you might not, it might not be necessary if you don't want it to, because conditions might be. You have a campfire. Do you have a tent and bedrolls for everybody?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
For every person?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so.
Then I don't think you need it. Yep, you don't need it. So you don't need camaraderie and you do not need cooking because it's just you get an automatic success on a nice, well, not a nice, but a chilly day. Spring night with campfire. So not a problem. You guys make camp, and if any of you guys are not at full, you gain 1 hit point.
All right.
Just gonna do a little thing here.
I don't think any of us took any damage from.
No, stands to reason. I'd be surprised if you did.
Look, it's poisoned pie that I've eaten. But...
All right.
You awake
Do
with the law.
I dream of the bard, John?
You sure do.
Ooh.
You wake up and you have expected to be in a cozy bed smelling of cinnamon and butter, but unfortunately you do not. You wake up on the cold hard ground with a draft horse's ass in your face and your less than stellar companions waking you up. So on the morrow, let's see what the weather is. Please roll me a d6 first.
I did it last time.
I'm on it. Let's clear that. And D6 it. It's a 5.
5, another spring day. So give me a 2d6.
Right. And I have a 7.
7. That's good. Warm and sunny day. So the clouds have been pushed away, and it is a beautiful day. Birds are chirping, and just a lovely day.
Am I still besotted?
It seems to have you don't really quite. You're more interested now in like the aches and pains of the thorns that were underneath, or of the brambles that were underneath. Roots that were underneath your bedroll. lingering memories of a well-turned calf kind of percolate, traipse through your brain. But
it was the lacing across the chest that really.
Yeah, that's hot.
When Halifax shakes his hair out in the morning, does Argus look at him?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're just like Halifax, a pale comparison to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out of town, you.
Okay.
I've been working on my hair flip.
So dawn
All right, so
rises. Looks like it's going to be an
24th.
absolutely stunning day out here on the Horseye Road. What do you plan to do?
So we want to hit. Let's see. We did 12.
We'll go 12-7 next.
We could go to 1207. We've kind of been through there because that's the Fog Lake.
Do we want to check out those caves to see
The
if we can,
caves.
right? Like we thought maybe there was that rogue caster, right? That
Yep.
the
We
knights
could
were
do that.
looking for, that the knights have gone missing.
Do it.
Now that's pretty far into the woods. It'll be hard to get our wagon in there.
Impossible to get the wagon.
won't do it.
You cannot take the wagon.
The wagon's
that's-
staying right here with Cam.
Yeah, the whole idea is that the wagon is just like a little mobile home that we can go back to.
Sure.
A little glamping, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could go do 1307 along the Horseye Road. And
Is
You
that
know,
the Abbey though?
It is the refuge. Yes.
I mean, I do want to go talk to that guy about hot dead chick.
Yeah, Corpse Bride. Nice.
Okay.
It's up to you. I mean, I guess both options are interesting.
I think so long as we explore a hex, I'm happy. So
Yeah.
I say we go down to Fog Lake, man. Let's check that place out.
Let's
I
do
want
it.
to do the caves. I want to look
Yeah,
at that,
okay.
that
Okay.
spellcaster.
Last time we were through there, we were all running on like 1 hit point, had no arms. It was brutal. We just wanted to get home.
speak for yourself. I think I was.
So yeah,
you
some
know,
of us had 2 arms. Just saying.
But you know what? Only one of us had a 5-con.
Right. So if you want to head directly south.
New card.
whoa.
Wow.
Con.
Yep,
That's a very very strong card. I think someone's compensating a little bit with
Yeah.
typography.
Yeah.
Well, the old one, this gets washed out. My camera takes
It does, yeah.
True.
No,
So I
so-
decided to upgrade the visibility.
Confi.
Nice. It's
Confi.
more like
The military.
like what convention are you going to, Ted, or something?
Well, yeah, great. Argus
It
Con.
was the 5th one, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's right. Argus Con 5.
Argus Con 5. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so
So
you're gonna
off to Fog Lake.
So you're going to
Yeah.
head south directly off the road, which means that you're going to head through the bulk of the same hex that you traveled yesterday. Assuming that you basically are going to head directly in south, you would actually pass through Mother's Glade once again. So I would just ask you, because it would take no effort. It would be part of your travels if you wanted to stop there again for any reason. Now's your time.
I mean, I'm sorry. I was fuzzy on whether or not Argus is still feeling a little loopy towards Oaken Street.
Not as much, no. It appears to be fading.
Do we want to march on by, see if we can't sneak some kind of peek into some of those buildings in the back on the way, or do we want to just let it?
I'm not
if we're
leading you
scared-
towards it. I'm just letting you know that like there is there is an opportunity here once again because you're going to pass
gotta
right
go
by
right
it.
by it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just giving us the option. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Are we taking Bragan again or Pen?
If we're scared of a baker who took out a bard, we should really consider our scale, because we're looking for a spellcaster who took out at least a couple of knights.
You say Baker like it's not a scary thing. That's the
This is true. I mean, it's very scary, but I'm fine. I'm fine either way. There doesn't seem to be anything like, it's definitely suspicious, but it's not like, you know, we
I
don't
would
see
go
anything.
back and just go ahead.
Can't we just take the road down through the hex, since our wagon is kind of on the edge of the road anyway? And then when we get to that hex 1207, then we can rab it in and go cut over to Fog Lake.
No. The wagon the wagon has to stay on the road. The wagon cannot.
Well, I understand that.
Okay.
But you're saying that we could cut through the glade. But if we're with our wagon as we travel down to the next hex,
No, you won't be.
we're
Around
actually on
the
the
road.
road.
You won't be. So the wagon has to stay in 1206 because that's where the road is. You understand? and then you would have to leave it and enter onto the hiking path basically that leads to the glade on your own 2 feet. Then if you or you could just avoid the path entirely if you didn't want to perchance meet up with the daughters. But regardless, you're going to be in your 2 feet going through tangled forest.
All right. Well, we're gonna move through. I think our options are either to ignore it or to go in and say, "Hey, our friend was feeling kind of funny after eating that. I'd be wary about your yeast. Maybe some poison berry got in it. Is everyone feeling okay?" I mean, point being is like if we want to go in, I think we have to inquire more than siege, and otherwise we probably just move forward. Yeah.
I would say we avoid it.
Okay. Let's move on then.
Okay, so you're going to travel around then. Deliberately avoid it. Okay,
Yeah, go around it.
not a problem.
And John,
Yes,
I would like to bring Ethel along.
Ethel. Yeah,
Yeah, she's got supplies on her, and in case we end up spending the night or something.
yep. She can be led through tangled forest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we taking Ethel and Bregan or Ethel and Pym gang? Bring the
Well, originally I thought we were going to have the fighter and the hunter travel with us and leave Pym with the wagon, or maybe.
No.
If we're leaving
the
the
wagon
wagon
gets stolen
with the girl robbers, that doesn't seem very good.
No, we have to. The warrior always has to be with the wagon, and maybe
Okay.
just because
dog.
otherwise we lose the wagon. and all of our-
which henchman is coming?
we can bring both of them or one.
I'll say we bring Torchbearer Boy. Let's bring Torchbearer Boy.
All right, let's bring Pym. Pym's with us.
Okay.
And so the hunter and the warrior are staying with the wagon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Puddles, hunter, warrior.
She should camouflage the wagon, make sure no one finds it, make sure it's hidden, and maybe patrol.
Okay.
Not just sit there smoking.
So here's the deal: because you searched the hex, and I will say that you are deliberately avoiding that path. But thanks to Gwillem's foresight in placing like little markers, it does actually come into play the very next day. Even though it is tangled forest and it's completely pathless, you are able to sort of find a route directly southwards into the next hex without. Actually, no, I'm reducing it. Okay, so you do need to roll, but it's going to be less of a chance. So normally it'd be 2 and 6. Normally it would be 2 and 6. Now it's 1 in 6 chance.
Okay.
David, I think you got to roll it, man. It was your idea.
We got a 4.
Okay, so you're able to move into 1207. So you came into 1207 after wandering lost in from basically like the southwestern part of it, but now you're coming in from the north. The dense forest that you were in previously of elm and kind of the forbidding sense of it, it gets even a little bit more ominous as it becomes a little bit more sodden and bog-like, but not completely. It just, that you're sort of starting to approach Hag's Addle, the region of Hag's Addle. But you can hear the strange booming croaks of creatures known as bog owls that are echoing from the surrounding vegetation, and through all of you Dolmenwood natives, just the sound of any sort of owl kind of puts you on edge from years of having been brought up that owls are an omen of the presence of the Drune. Needless to say, though, it is rough going as you kind of pick your way through with Ethel and Pym, right? Pym is who you're taking? Yeah. Okay, cool. You find yourself in a dell upon these slopes, these sort of wooded slopes that are generally kind of sloping down towards what you assume is going to be Fog Lake. And there is the mist starts to sort of roll in, like from all directions. So that you're starting to approach the lake itself. And it gets to a point where you can't really see that far ahead of you. You have to be really careful and stay close, that you kind of keep an eye on each other. And at one point, sort of like in the northern part of the hex, the mist actually coalesces into the form of a huge pearlescent white doorway, like
Hell yeah.
like made out of like wispy clouds, and it's sort of like the door jamb itself is sort of like two trees, like actual trees, right? So it sort of forms in between two trees. But fronting those two trees on either side of the doorway are two huge, like 12-foot tall humanoid figures wielding blades, like holding the hilt and with the point down on the ground, completely faceless, but really, really their shape is sort of moving in and out of the mist, basically, right? But they're really lithe and slim, but in only the vague recollection of like a humanoid form. But they're completely featureless. But you can see that they're massive warriors, 12 feet tall, on either side of these huge misty doors.
Love to see it. Okay, go ahead.
Is there a ley line effect here?
No.
So the mist rolls in off the lake, begins to coalesce into a single door.
No, a huge, massive, 12-foot tall, like double doors, like a seam in the middle.
Double door.
Yeah.
Right,
You cannot see the lake. You just know that the presence of the mist is from your previous visit here. Usually is indicative that the lake is nearby.
So if any of you heathens had played any of the Dark Souls games, you would know this is obviously a boss gate. And,
It is not gold. It is misty white.
And do when this happens, like, does all sound deaden, or can we still hear the chirps and calls of birds?
No, you can still hear mostly the croaking of the bog owls. So it's like a kind of like a little bit ominous. Definitely not normal, and quite fearsome. Like it's like. It does not look inviting at all, but it did sort of appear in your path, despite that.
Okay.
Are they wearing any kind of armor or anything that we would recognize, or are these just like weird figures?
Very weird. Yeah, it's like maybe, but you think it might just be your mind sort of projecting that. It's obvious that they are holding blades, but they're made out of like a misty cloud. You know what I mean? It's just very sort of.
What do they sort of look like, the Oscar trophy or something?
Featureless like that, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Dare we approach the gate?
I do.
Yeah.
And I speak Saint Fogarty's name as we do. Guide us.
Okay.
You say John
Hallowed. What?
Say John Fogarty?
Yeah, exactly. On this hallowed glade, that we may see clearly.
May the big wheel keep on turning.
So you move close to the doors, and do you remember that scene from Neverending Story where like
of course
talking about, right, like where the heads actually turn to look at you as you sort of approach, like they turn in and down, and even though you can't see their eyes at all, you can feel something like looking at you, right?
Yeah. I'd say hail and well met out loud.
Give me 1 second.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh yeah, David's totally dead now.
Love it. Love to see it. Love to see it.
Offer them some pie.
Okay, so as
What
you
are
approach,
your feelings on bars?
as you approach, the doors open. Right, the fog opens, and beyond you do not see. Obviously, you don't see would normally be beyond those doors. You don't see the forest. What you see is a gravel road that twists through what appears to be a forest, but not the forest that you are residing in right now. It's a gloomy, dark, twilight forest of thin trees. It seems like utterly colorless, like devoid of life almost. But there's a road that sort of wends its way slowly through those trees off into the distance where it disappears on a very short horizon.
And is there any reaction from the features other than they're just kind of like looking down at it?
Looking right down at Brother Gwillem, yeah.
And
Are there any
is there
legends
reaction?
about this? Oh, sorry.
I
Go ahead,
just want to know what Pym does at this point.
Pym is basically shitting himself, and it's yeah.
Okay, sorry, Mike.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Are there any legends about this door or misted guardians in near the vicinity of Fog Lake? Have we ever heard of anything like this? Is it
not
gateway
not
underworld?
less than you heard about it in the campaign so far. But do you?
I turn to the party and say, throw me a rope that I may tie it around my waist.
Willem, you hear Pim is repeatedly saying under his breath the seventh mandate, just over and over and over again.
I was kind of
I
wondering.
gotta refresh myself real quick. Hold on.
It's
One about not truck with fairies.
Yeah.
Or the fairies.
Yeah.
Come on, Fire.
Sure.
Do you suppose this goes to fairy?
I don't know. It could be some divine sign from the gods
How
themselves.
it goes to Costco, bro.
Listen,
We already have history.
who here can divine the will of God? I certainly can't. All I can do is truck in his lands and spread the good word.
So I guess at this point Halifax would look up and call out to the figures, guardians of this gate, our travelers welcome through this portal.
They do not move or respond in any sort of way.
Well, that's
John, I'm going to approach the gate, not cross the boundary yet.
Okay.
Shall approach.
As you bring yourself alongside Brother Gwillem, the heads slowly turn to regard you as well until they're looking at both of the two of you right at the entrance to the gate.
Do we discern any change in the material of the gate beyond, or okay. Alfred, what's your alignment?
Neutral.
This is mine. So
Fitting for a clergyman.
I can be neutral or lawful. Okay. I believe in protecting the people, which means I have to be neutral because some people aren't protected by the law. This is the nature of society, my friend.
Oh my God! Please.
So, I'm going to suggest one of our lawful friends replace us at the position of the gate and see if the material of the forest beyond changes. Does it look looming and glooming and thin-treed and callous, or does it look golden and welcoming?
Make Halifax do it.
Yeah, I'm ready on the way.
What I'm saying is we leave so that we're no longer being regarded along with Halifax, and I want to see if anything changes.
Okay.
Halifax gets shot with a lightning bolt. Like that knight in Neverending Story who sort of like rides out. And
Right, exactly,
yeah.
Yeah, no, he walks up to kind of where they were, and he looks up at the two guardians, like, so we're free to pass then.
If you're approaching as well, they do regard you as well. They turn to look at you as you approach.
I take a look at their swords. Are they nice?
You can't tell. Like I said, they're made out of mist. Everything's made out of mist.
John, now that Halifax
compliments guys like one guy to another. Nice sword.
Now that Halifax is the only one being regarded, and we have extracted ourselves from the gate, is there anything different about the gate or the vision beyond?
Like when you're looking at it from a distance?
Yes. Or does Halifax see anything
when
different? What I'm asking is,
you all see the same thing.
What I'm wondering is, go ahead.
You all see the same thing. Thin trees, gloomy, dark.
Let's tie a rope around Halifax and push him through. I mean, let him walk through. What do you say, Halifax? Or do you want me to do it?
I'll do it. I'll go.
All right, I'll get my rope off of Ethel, tie it around Halifax's waist, tie the other half to the saddle horn on Ethel there, and off you go.
Okay, so you enter through the doors. All right, you step through. You
make that face, and now everything is good.
You step through the door with a rope around your waist, and it's immediately the sounds of the happy sunny day back in Dolmenwood just cease. It's just like an instant, just gone, and everything is shrouded in silence. Just really, really quiet. All you can hear is the crunch of your first footstep as your boot hits that gravel road in the dark, and you see that you are surrounded, except for directly behind you, there are the same doors with the same guardians that leads back to Dolmenwood, and you can see that through the doors that you can see the sun shining, and you can see your friends sort of gazing at you through there, wondering what's going on. But all around you and around that door in every direction is this unending twilight forest. of these thin trees with some sort of sourceless light that is barely lighting the place, like a never-ending twilight. But there is a road that moves forward, kind of wending its way, like I said, kind of off into the distance. It does not continue behind you past the door you came through. This appears to start here.
The yellow brick road starts.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All
Right here. And it's a gravel path.
Does he get any sense of evil about I mean, it sounds very gloomy and ominous, but does he get a sense like, this is an evil place? Does it feel like undead are gonna like jump out and
No, you don't get an overwhelming sense of evil, but it's definitely a sense of something other, something not normal. One thing that you do happen to take with you into here is that there is I should have said this when you first stepped through, it wasn't that there was silence. There was actually like a really irritating buzzing vibrancy that was like in your head, like as you kind of step through, and you're like, like what is that? And then as you kind of turn to look back and you see your companions and you're kind of getting your bearings, it slowly fades away, sort of like someone who has like recurring tendinitis, right? But it's just slowly.
It's unpleasant to go through the gate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it takes like a couple minutes, but then it slowly fades away.
I just want to point out the seventh mandate is thou shalt not seek forbidden knowledge. Thou shalt not. I wasn't sure if you meant that.
No, I meant the Fey one, whatever the Fey one is.
Oh, okay.
Is that the sixth? The sixth? Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, we can give as much forbidden knowledge as we want. That's totally cool.
The seventh applies here too, I think, possibly.
Yeah, probably true. Yeah. So the gravel road is made out of sort of like a chalky gray gravel, and so in the twilight, it actually appears quite bright relative to the rest of the dark forest and the loam underneath, right? So it actually gives the impression of like a winding white way that sort of makes its way.
Okay. So I don't see anything of note. There are no treasure chests. There are no.
I forgot the treasure chests. Okay, retcon. They're dangling from trees. Yes.
No version of like a big welcome Halifax sign.
No.
Is there like a road sign that says Ravenloft on it by any chance?
No.
Oh, dude, you're gonna summon a lawyer to keep that up.
Yeah, really.
All right,
so lawyers appear in a cloud of sulfur.
He'll kind of look around and kind of test out the very obvious question: can he go back through the doorway?
Yes, you can. Yep, your friends are delighted to see you whole and unharmed. And you guys, it's not like he doesn't disappear. You see him enter and look around and hold his head in pain for a second, and you watch him come back out, and he seems to be fine. The vibrancy, the buzzing, does not happen when you return to Dolmenwood. Okay, what is most shocking is the reappearance of sound all in a rush, right? Like all the sounds of the forest, like just it's birds and people and blah blah blah,
So my question would be this: once Halifax has recounted what they saw, do we have any sense of a place geographically that we've heard of in Dolmenwood?
Could I have seen any landmarks or anything?
You mean like where you are right now?
No. When I was through the door.
Oh, no. It was not like a mirror, like a dark mirror of Dolmenwood. It was a different place.
It's another
place.
No, I understand that. What I'm asking is, would there be a place in the Dolmenwood that sounds familiar? Like would I'm like randomly saying, like, would I think, this is like the Dark Mirror? Well, that's a funny, this is near Magride's Reach or something like that, right? Like,
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Locationally, does this feel like a portal to me? Or something that's existential. You know what I mean?
It definitely. I mean, it's fairly obvious. I mean, that this is not. It does not remind you of anything in Dolmenwood, and it appears completely and totally unnatural. It's Halifax could report to you too that there is a lack of there's an omnipresent twilight, right? But the source of that light is nowhere to be found. There's no sun in the sky. That in itself would be, you know.
Well, the reason I asked is there's a place called Castle Everdusk on the map, and I thought, interesting. If that's written on my map somewhere, you know, and we know what the map says.
No, it's a fair question. It's a fair question, but this
not Brooklyn. Yeah. We're going to Narnia, not Brooklyn. We're going to a whole nother.
Yeah, no, I understand. That's part of it.
You definitely get the vibe that it is a portal of some sort to some other place.
Well, I think we are mandated by the one true God to explore this land.
It has come to our path.
Yes.
John, one other question that I have. He would kind of compare notes. How long does it seem like I was gone? Is there any kind of evidence of like time screwiness like we had before?
There does not appear to be evidence of that, but you were there.
And I wasn't there very long.
You were there very briefly, yeah.
All right, let's tell Pim to wait. What time of day is it, John?
Good question.
Probably pretty early.
You can explore for 8, so it'll take you about 4. And you're moving what, 12 miles right now? No, 8 miles.
Because of Ethel.
Let's see, it'd probably be 4 or 5. You moved about 4 miles directly south. So that's like half a day, right? So
Noon. Okay. So why don't we do this, guys? Do we...
A little bit later.
We could take Ethel with us, but that might cause us problems later on. I don't think we can ask Pim to come through that portal with us without making him, like, you know, shit twice.
It's gonna freak him out. Yeah, no.
Right? So why don't we tell him to wait here for like an hour or two, right, with Ethel. And if we're not back in an hour or two, he goes back to camp, and then they have to wait for us for like a week.
Don't we want to take Ethel with us in case we need to camp over there?
Well,
she's got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that might be a good idea, but also it might be problematic because if we walk down a mile down that ghostly wood road and then there's a, you know, something that we need to go into or stairs that we need to go up or stairs that we need to go down, that's it. Ethel's going to be stuck outside.
Ethel can come in.
She can go into dungeons.
Mules can go into dungeons. Horses can. I mean, if that's your main concern. But
I say we bring her with us because that's her whole job is to carry stuff for us.
Okay. All right, then let's do that. But let's have Pim wait here for an hour or two, and then head back to camp.
Do we get a sense that he could do that on his own safely, John? Heading back to camp.
I mean, to be honest, I don't know if he would. Yeah, I mean, it's quite a distance. It's basically like a hex length.
That's what I'm worried about. So,
I mean,
I think he either has to come with us, right, and he'll gripe the whole time, or we'll get a morality check. Or some version of or we can just say right now, Pim.
Yes.
Double your reward. You know what I mean? Could be the offer.
No.
No, this is not official. Hold on. This is this is in party talk. No, what I'm saying is like we might be able to bribe him to incentivize him to come where he otherwise wouldn't, but he is a trembling teen, basically, right? This is not a warrior.
Right. Well, the deal we offered was a gold a day and a treasure share if they went into, you know, a dungeon or something with us. And I think this would count for a share. So we hired him on the gold a day, and that's all he's had to do so far is his gold a day job. But if he goes in here, he's getting a share.
And it's nice. We can also kind of give him a choice. You can stay here outside, wait for us here, right? With less danger. Perhaps, or come with us for, through this portal, for a share. So stay here for your regular wage. It's also, maybe you don't want to stay here by yourself, but come with us through the portal for a share.
Half share.
Or your whatever we agreed to.
The tough choice. I mean, it's actually a really tough choice. It's neither of them is a really good option. You know what I mean? But
and Halifax would look to him and say, "Listen, we've brought you here. I will personally do all that I can to protect you, as I do these others. But I want to reassure you, my friend. I've got you." And he pats the hilt of his sword.
Right.
Taps his arm.
I mean, technically, his brother You could do that, but he's Brother Gwillem's guy, so all sort of checks and stuff like that will be under his purview. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically make him make another loyalty check, but there won't be any chance of him just like leaving your service outright. Basically, if he makes it, he'll be brave enough to go with you. If he fails it, he's going to stay outside.
Okay, because I don't want to threaten him.
No,
it sounds like we're coercing him in a way that
I like the idea.
I like this guy. I'm not trying to like harm him.
No, of course,
right?
yeah.
Coerce him. Okay.
Yeah. But you guys are determined to go in, and so he doesn't. There's no good option for him. So just roll 2d6.
That is a 3 total.
Okay, so he is going to. He doesn't like the look of that at all. Do I
add my charm? I do, don't I? It's 5 then. But still
the same. So he's a pious kid, very very suspicious, and has very superstitious as well. And he is here faced with something that is obviously supernatural and not at all welcoming. And he sees his death beyond that door, and he sees yours as well, and is open about telling you guys that you are fools for stepping in there, but you are paying my wages, and I will do my best to keep guard here, and then I will return to camp if necessary. Cool.
Perfect. Yep. Okay. I'm fine with that. I'd rather have him do that than rabbit on us halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're taking Ethel in, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
She's going to turn like inside out or something when they go through that door.
She's not too happy about it either. She gives you a little bit of attitude about it, but you eventually step through. Her ears lie flat against the side of her head as she steps through. And you assume that she's experiencing the same thing that you all do, which is that vibrancy that Halifax warned you about. And there you are in that twilight forest with the white way stretching ahead of you.
I will untie Halifax, by the way. Put the rope back on it.
Tie Halifax to Ethel.
No.
All right, so let's proceed. Proceed down the road.
Let's head on down the yellow brick road.
Okay. Give me one moment.
Are we going to whistle?
Oh, but we do have to link arms and dance.
All right, so you punch your way down this gray gravel path through this forest. Eyes out for anything strange or anything like that. You just have a deep sense of unease and otherness here. As you continue to move forward silently, you can't help but feel that there are things watching you, although you don't see anything, but you could swear that there are things like peeking around from behind these thin branches, these thin trunks of these trees, but you never really do see anything. Let me see here. I'm going to roll a thing here. Sorry, give me a sec.
Oh, no.
It's fine. It's fine. You
Here we go.
All right. So at a certain point, you could swear that there's nothing like it's not like it disappears behind you or anything like that. Like you can look behind you and see like where you came from. You can gather a sense of like how far you've traveled. You've probably gone about 4 miles or so down this road. You have no sense of like there's no sun, so you have no sense of like where what direction you're heading in any sort of way. But eventually
there are no branches on the path or anything.
No branching at all. It does tend to wind. It'll avoid obstacles and stuff like that. But eventually the forest thins out for a little bit, and you end up traveling along the path through a boulder-strewn plain. Just random boulders sort of off to the side of the road. And you see something flitting from boulder to boulder directly in your peripheral, right off to the sides of your peripheral vision, like right behind you, sort of. And you kind of turn your head a little bit and you miss it, and you can't help but like every step you take, you can see these things kind of moving from boulder to boulder. And when you finally catch a look at it, you see that they're actually there are shadows. They're actually leaping from boulder to boulder, and they seem to be following in your wake.
Oh,
It seems to be a lot of them.
Okay. Well, you know what I'm going to do immediately?
Pim was right.
was fried.
You see one
That's the
drape
name of the
itself
episode.
slowly, like you see like a shadow actually drape itself over a boulder to your left, and it looks like in the shape of a hand, but it's a shadow, right? Like it's just like it just kind of makes darkness on the boulder, and then you see like part of it actually detach from the boulder, and like a head-like form actually like appears to look at you, and when it sees you guys notice it, like it goes back behind and melds into like the darker shadows behind the boulder where you can't see, you know.
Oh, I don't like this place.
And then you see like shadows like as if like clouds are like over top, like directly over the boulders, like casting shadows are like the shadows are like draped over the boulders, like, and then like over like another one, you know, that sort of thing.
I want to light a torch, John.
Okay, so you light it, mark it off. There's, it does not appear to. You would thought like in a strange place like this, it would only reach out 10 feet. No, but no, it glows out 30 feet. A bright spot of light in the twilight.
I'm gonna look at our own shadows and see if there's any behavior that's strange.
So you look down. Your torch is casting harsh shadows, and you see them. They are not moving the same as your own. They actually appear to be struggling to detach themselves from your feet, as if wanting to get away from the fire.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
They're like-
I'm taking that shield out.
You know, that's
Okay. Do I?
John, I'm going to face away from the torch. I'm going to crouch down on my hands and knees, and I'm going to try to interact with my own shadow.
Okay, so it is moving of its own accord. You do not. You do not. Like you put your hands on the ground basically, and you just kind of scoop up gravel. It appears to be writhing violently, attempting to get away from Argus's torch. The shadows on the boulders appear to have like fled behind like the not the leeward side, but like the side that you can't see, right? Like into the darkness.
John, prior to him lighting the torch, were we casting like a faint shadow from the unnatural light, or were there no shadows?
No, there were shadows, but faint, very faint. Like you have at dusk, right? You know what I mean? Just like very, very vague.
I move 25 feet away from Argus's torch.
Okay,
And-
your shadow
and
calms
I
down.
I do the same experiment and see if there's any way I can interact with it.
You can't interact, but it does appear to be following your movement now, like being itself. Yeah.
I think maybe we should turn the torch out.
I kind of feel like we should.
Sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but Argus, snuff the torch. I don't want the essence of my unself to detach.
Can you shutter? Can you light a lantern instead, Ted, and then shutter it?
I cannot. I don't have one.
I just have a regular lantern.
They're on the wagons.
I have a lantern. I have
Yeah.
that with me.
We had gear. I assume we took gear with us when we were.
Well, if it's on your, packed items, then it's with you. Yeah.
I have mine with me. Do we want to try this lantern instead of the torch so we can direct
Light it and shield it. Yeah. See if things.
Yeah.
I'll put my torch out.
Okay, and I will light my lantern. And I guess I have my shield there too. So if I could
If you want, I have a notch on the top of my staff that I used all the way through St. Chide's tomb.
there you
And I
go.
just put the lantern on that, and then just shutter it. And then if we need it, then we take the shutters off. Right?
Okay. Fair enough.
So what's the shadow behavior, John?
The shadow behavior when what?
We
When we-
shutter the lantern. It's only pointing in a single direction rather than on our own shadows.
Yeah, so
It's
it's not
not
making
Then your shadows return to normal, basically, like very, very vague. Assuming,
But it's shuttered. It's not making a beam of light anywhere. It's shuttered, which means that it's got cracks in the shutters kind of thing, but it's not casting light, actually.
Right? Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like a bullseye lantern.
Right,
Okay. Well, if it's on the ready, if we get spooked and feel like we have to turn it to unshutter it, I suppose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Super creepy.
And just so I'm clear, John, it did not appear as if there was a bifurcation of our shadows where we had a natural shadow and an unnatural shadow. It was a single shadow that was detaching from our.
That's correct. Yep. Yep.
Okay. It wasn't like a mutation. All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, gents.
I gotta say, Argus
I'm
is
going to
like
start
having-
saying a prayer to myself.
Yeah, seriously.
Yes, I did very.
Fine.
I think out loud, I'm going to start saying a prayer to St. Fogarty, who is the light. Yes, correct. Yes.
Yep.
So I'm gonna yeah. Fogarty. Let me read his. Y'all can continue. I'm just gonna read his full story because I'm curious.
Okay, so you continue
Are we
along.
keep walking, guys, or are we gonna go turn around?
Yeah,
I say
do we
go
like how this
ahead.
feels, or do we not like how this feels?
In for a penny, in for a pound. It's got to go somewhere.
Keep following the road. Okay.
It could go
Does-
to the plane.
do we
the shadows
see it?
eat us.
Do we see anything, John? Like, is there anything in the distance?
The tower, the house.
Actually, yes. Across this plane where your vision is actually wider, you see that there is it looks like the planes actually open up into a white marble plaza somewhere off in the distance. Strangely enough, like they just sort of like a you know, an open plaza, and it's ringed with pillars.
Is
Way
this
off in the
on the
distance.
road? Like we would take the road to get there, or do we cross the boulder?
You would cross like you're approaching it.
Probably
Are
the
they
Drune
cyclopean
council
pillars?
chambers or something.
You continue.
What did you say, Mike?
I'm saying, are the dimensions of this plaza and the pillars like cyclopean? Are they like not made for mortals? Are they?
No, they appear to be normal sized.
them?
They appear to be normal sized. You're
All
way
right,
off
let's
in the distance,
continue.
right? All right, so
We continue onward.
you continue forward, and
So
you enter this plaza of white marble. The pillars themselves don't appear to be in ruins. They appear to be freestanding. However, they are carved with the stern faces, not laughing, of satyrs and nymphs. There
boy.
is in the center of the plaza. There is a fountain with water trickling from the mouths of of one lion with 7 heads into a fountain, and the path continues onwards.
I'm going to do 2 things. First, I'm going to check my shadow again. How's my shadow doing? Happy?
The shadow seems to be fine, but you do see that there are detached shadows that are actually peering from behind the pillars at you, watching.
Oh, I don't like
Okay.
that.
I'm going to go look into the fountain and see if I have a reflection in it.
Your reflection is there. Yeah.
Okay.
And is this a flowing fountain, or just the water still?
No, there's water
You
coming.
said-
There's water coming out of the 7 heads of this lion.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
I am going to.
Yes.
Oh, you're gonna drink
Jump
it.
in and you end up in another world. Jump into the fountain. You're gonna end up in like another world, just like in Narnia. And then
Willfully throwing the 6th mandate, like tearing that out of your Vulgate and tossing it.
I know.
Who needs this?
I'm gonna. Oh, this is so dumb, but I love it. I can't help myself. Come on, I can't help myself. I'm gonna cut my hand down, and I'm gonna sort of smell the water and look at it a bit.
Okay.
Anything strange about it?
No, it appears clear and does not smell like anything.
Drink it. Drink it.
What you gonna do?
I'm gonna take a sip.
Shit. Okay. All right. You drink it. It tastes wonderful. Like it tastes like the clearest. It tastes as if you were thirsty in the desert for like 2 weeks and have your first sip of water, like that kind of like refreshing of water, but it tastes like water. You see the 3 of you see all color from basically drain out of Gwillem's skin. So and all of his hair as well. So he basically what he does is he turns albino. because like bright white, pink eyes. You can see the veins in his skin, and his hair becomes shiny white.
You're so emo now.
Yeah.
They're calling you Elric.
Yeah.
All right. What do I see, John? Does anything perceptual change about my?
No. Everything seems to be fine. It's only the surprised look upon your companions' faces, which makes you look down at yourself, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
I'll hold up my little mirror for him.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a crazy thing to request. You guys want to unshutter a little bit of the light so I can put my hand in front of it and see if the torchlight covers my hand?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, no problem.
Put my hand in front of the torchlight.
For the lantern, yeah.
Yeah, so it your skin is highly like translucent now, so you can kind of see like a pinkish through the hand. Basically, you can see the bones of your hand a little bit, but other than that, it appears to be like a normal reaction to the.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wild. All right.
Oh boy.
If it was
Great.
an
Well, it's
illusion.
great water. I feel totally refreshed. Okay.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
How's that 17 charisma doing there, sexy man?
Listen.
His
All
white neck is absolutely beautiful.
Call me Ahab. You know what I mean?
Hey, let's play a trick on Pim, guys.
Just pretend we can't see Gwillem, that he's a ghost in the background.
Yeah.
We lost Gwillem, man. He didn't come back.
Okay. John, does the plaza end? As in, is there anything extending beyond another road, another path, etc.? Or is this like the terminus of this road?
No, but you do see when you're looking, it does continue past the plaza, but there is actually way off in the distance, like where it appears to enter the woods again, you can see a shimmering, misty door.
Oh.
Okay, well, we have to go look at the door, gang.
Oh, we have to go look at the door.
The question is whether I'm going to get zapped by those fog guys because I had the water. So we're about to find out.
All right, so
Dangerous.
you continue on. You would say that by this time you probably have gone about 12 miles. Yes.
Can I take some of the water in an ampule?
Oh, yes, you can. Yep.
Mark it?
Yep. Sure. Let's mark it down. There is.
I was gonna fill a water skin with it as well. It sounds like it could be fun.
You could do that. Yep. All right. So you continue on. You think that you've probably gone about 12 miles or so, judging by how long you've traveled. And you approach this gate, and you see that what you thought was actually misty is not. It's actually like a shimmering, rainbow-like hue. These doors, but shimmering as if like sunlight is hitting it, but there is no source of sunlight.
Pearlescent, kind of.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yep. And as you approach, they open up, but they actually make a sound like as they open and scrape the gravel road to the side, and you can see through what is definitely like the mortal world, right? There's like something there, but what it appears is that you are actually is like on the other side are huge ancient willow trees. Like you can see basically like the drapes of these branches that are like basically covering the doorway. Like you would almost have to like push them aside like a beaded curtain to get through. Or that's what you would push aside when you step through the doors.
Well, I would like to go through.
On the other side.
You gotta go through?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you step through, and you are immediately like just sound, just and I'm talking sound, because when you step through and you pass through these willow trees, you hear the sound of a massive waterfall, which you are right at the top of. Right, like you're standing on the banks and like looking over like a huge spray of water that is going down, massive. And we have to end it here, but we're gonna do a couple of rolls first. First, I need weather, which should tell you something immediately.
Shit.
Oh shit.
Oh, poor Pim. Our whole wagon. Oh.
Why you don't invest in infrastructure, jackasses?
Okay, roll me 2d6.
I got a 7.
Okay, cool. So it's going to be a warm and sunny day. All All right.
We've heard about some fallen.
Wait.
Roll me-
Did we have to roll an initial d6, John, or did we just skip right over?
We're gonna skip it. Roll me 2d6.
Someone else do it.
I already did it once.
I haven't rolled a thing yet tonight. I'll do it.
But Mike.
I open my dice tray. 2d6, adding them together, John, or no?
Yep.
You just hit it twice, yeah.
Okay. I got a dose.
2. Okay. Okay.
Guys,
All right. So, so we're going to leave it basically right there. It's still a warm and sunny day, but you are definitely in somewhere else. You have like no idea where you are. And the sun appears to be in the exact same spot that it was when you left. We'll say that. So it's exactly the same same time of day. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Quick question before we go. My skin. Am I still?
Yes, you are. Yeah, you are now. You are now
Okay.
officially. You are now officially an albino friar. You're like you're like Paul Bettany from Da Vinci Code.
Wow. Well, if when I get martyred one day, this is part of my mythology, right? Like I have to be.
Yeah.
Saint.
You have lost all color basically in your skin. Yeah.
Wow, that's wild.
Side note to our viewers: this is at least the second and possibly the third albino character that David has played.
That's true.
That's not true.
Second
Not
though.
three.
Second.
Not three. I only had one albino character prior. All right.
That's kind of weird, actually. That's kind of weird now that I think about
That
it.
is, but that was what, like 7 years ago. That's wild. I forgot.
You were like an albino, like half orc or something, and then you were also wasn't your paladin the one I killed with the fireballs? Wasn't he an albino too?
No.
But that's funny.
But your half orc in Pathfinder 2e was albino. That was just the my last campaign. Yeah. Anyways.
I don't remember. Oh, right, because I was referencing Blood Meridian. You're right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about it.
He also had
Carving
a
McCarthy. He was a psychopathic character too, so it was all part of the
Parcel of David's
McCarthy verse. If anyone wants to play a really terrible character, read a McCarthy book. Anyway,
it's your Bible. Anyways,
John, before we go,
mm-hmm.
when we look behind us, is the door still there, or is the door?
The door is there. Yes, you appear to be underneath the boughs of 7 gigantic ancient willow trees, the most ancient you've ever seen, that are sitting atop a bank, sitting atop the bank at the top of a massive falls. And so you have your limited experience of where you've been traveling. You have no idea where you are. And that's where we're going to leave it. And you also have you don't know at any time that you are either.
that's funny.
But you have just
airplanes.
You have just traveled along your first ferry road. So congratulations.
Well, I do recall that we need to. Well, we can do this off camera, I suppose. I do recall us. There's a location beyond a grand waterfall that we were discussing several sessions ago.
Yeah,
I
we
need to
did.
check my
Up
notes
near Lake Longmere at the north end. We talked about a fall.
Exactly. Yes. So
All
anyway,
right. So delightful
That's
turn
awesome.
of events. I was not expecting this to happen. So that's my favorite kind of session, which is fantastic. So awesome job, guys. So thanks again.
Thank you, John.
Thank you to everybody for watching and tuning in. We just passed the 850 subscriber mark, so we're pretty happy about that. We're on the road to 1,000. So please, you know what to do. Share, like, and subscribe as normal. And we will see you guys all next time for episode 16. Have a great night, everybody. Take care.
Awesome. Good night, guys.
Later.